2022. Has everybody had a chance to go over the July 2022 minutes? Any questions?
No.
Okay, we'll just wait here for a sec.
I mean, yes, I have.
You have?
Yes.
Okay.
I just couldn't figure out which mic I should talk into.
Oh, okay.
So I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Okay, which then brings us into new business. Kind of touch up on this a little bit. Adult softball season, basically, will be final playoff games will be this coming Thursday night. Season went relatively good. We only missed 1 week out of the whole season because of a rain out, so that's a good thing. We ended up with 7 teams. All the teams are going to make the playoffs. We're down to the last, actually, I think 4 teams here now for Thursday night and stuff. I got plaques from Casson Laser Graphics, John Hansen. He got some really nice tracks, one for the league champion, one for the playoff champion, and our umpire will give that Thursday night after the games and stuff. So the season went well. I will get everything put into place for whoever will come in for me for next year. I know Kevin, our umpire in chief, has had some health issues this year. He helped me a lot keeping all the teams going, emailing them, texting them, finding umpires when we can get an umpire. Some of the teams actually umpired their own games, and Kevin paid the manager back the money through his umpiring, whatever, so the teams didn't feel like they got ripped off, whatever, for as far as the umpiring. But that's kind of really how we ended up doing the season. It was tough to get an umpire anymore. A lot of people are not going into slow pitch softball. And then, of course, too, just to let you know, I mean, we're in the MSF ASA softball category, and then there's USA ASA softball. So Perry Coons has been in that MSF organization. I've been there with him ever since I started back in '88. It started in '82. He's getting up there in age too. He kind of texted me and told me he does not know how long the NSF will stay once he retires, which I'm thinking here in a couple, 2-3 years, he'll probably, retire too. So there's a good chance, that possibility that the Casson League may switch to the other division that's sanctioned through the state if we still keep enough teams. So that's something that'll happen down the road. But anyway, we've had a good season, good run. I think everything worked out real well for adult softball. Any questions on softball? Okay. Which comes down to the CAM Girls Softball Association donation. Their president, I can't remember, I think it's Tim Miller, I think, something. But anyway, he bought a check up, and Jan received the check, a $250 donation for us to maintain the East Diamond Park and getting it ready for their softball games during the summer, and then also dragging the field down there by the library park, the West Park, which was real nice of them. They always give us some type of donation there towards the end of the season. With that, CAM Girls Softball Association, they are going to have a fall league, which just only pertains to practices. This is going to be new. They are going to use the East Diamond Park and then North 1 until October 15th.
When did it start?
It's going to start here, actually, I think here next week, I think.
Okay.
Yep. And it'll run till October 15th. It'll be kind of a practice situation. They want to they got a lot of girls interested. I know the head varsity coach, Paul Mann, is kind of spearheading this to keep the girls interested and get some extra practice time in. And so that's going to go on at both of them fields. We don't have to line it or nothing like that. We just got to drag it once in a while and keep the bases and and keep the lime going and that stuff. Because we usually don't add the Shakopee lime till towards the end of October anyway. We have semis come in and we put lime on the fields every fall, so once they get done practicing, then we can do that. But that's for the Girls Softball Association, summer. The KM Boys Baseball Association, KMBA, they actually are going to have a fall league also, and they're going to be playing games with other towns, other communities, a fall league. They will be using North Park number 2. I don't know what days they are going to use this as far as games, but that'll run probably around the first week or second week in October also. And I know in the past they've used it, I think, on Sunday evenings. It could be a Sunday evening type game, but I haven't got a schedule, or they haven't got back to me. Matt Frankie is ahead of that. He's the head baseball coach, and mentioning them that next month they want to be put on the agenda at 6 o'clock in September. They want to come in. They've been hearsay about possible new complex going out in Lions Park in the future. Possibly it got around that we might convert the West Park into maybe a soccer field and get rid of that ball field there. They just want to kind of get up to date of information, and they might have some information back to us with numbers of how many that they're expecting in the future and stuff like that. So we'll put that on the agenda next month to have them come in and talk, the Cass-Mantorville Baseball Association group, okay? Okay. Any questions on anything else that I just went through? Okay. Veterans Memorial Park Flower Planter. This, I know, always ends up getting to be very touchy as far as when you have an older situation in the park. But the flower planter is bad. It's in really rough shape, and I mean rough shape if you've taken a look at it. Me and Tim have sat down, and I wanted to bring this up this month, that we would like to replace that flower planter with a new Veterans War Memorial in that area. The one that we have on the east side was put in around just about 89, I think, or 1990, by Gary Gullickson and the Legion. I remember that because I'd started, and I just about a year in, and they came up and put the flower planter in, and they put all the branches of the service and stuff in there and stuff, and then the flag, and then we put the flags in and stuff like that. And it's been there for a long time, and it's falling apart. If you've not seen that up there, it's bad shape, real bad shape. But what our thought process was, me and Tim were sitting down kind of going through these things. I mean, we're in need here, a community, to have a new war memorial put in our town. Pretty much every other town has a brand new one, or they've done something. We went all over. I went to Medford, I went to Watamingo, I went to Mankato. I got pictures from Mankato. I was there last Friday. Just to kind of give us some ideas, Dodge Center put a new one in, Stewartville put one on there, on 63. I mean, so it's time for us, especially when we're called Veterans Memorial Park, to put a new war memorial up at our park. We've talked about this now probably for the last 3 or 4 years to do it. We actually have around, I think, 30,000 in our funds. We've put 10,000 away over the last 3 years to go towards this fund. I put in the budget again in the CIP plan, which I'll go through here pretty soon. I put in another 10,000, so I'm thinking hopefully we'll have around maybe 40,000. Last year I talked to Dick Denny. He was kind of the commander of the Americans Legion at that time, and Todd Nelson was the Veteran Service Coordinator over in Mantorville, and now he's retired and they got a new gentleman. We met up there at one time, and we really wanted to do a nice thing, nice in that area by the flower planter. They were not looking at the same site of where it was, where it is now. We wanted to kind of showcase that area of the park, because number one, we got ample electricity. We got water for flowers that are gonna get implemented into this. And I mean, it really is in the middle of our park there next to the gazebo. I think it'd really look really nice. We talked about at one time putting it up against the back of the aquatic center. And then we kinda talked, that ain't gonna work very good. We need to have it so when people drive by, they can see the front of it, you know, and run it off the sidewalk. So, with the bad flower planter, the way it is in shape, we really would like to eliminate the flower planter and then start the process of having a nice war memorial. Friday, I went over to Mankato, because I was over there for my PRA stuff to get signed up for my retirement, and I took some pictures of their war memorial. Beautiful. It's not the classic granite stones with all the branches like most people have. Tim really had and he did have a great idea, you know, why do we want to do something like everybody else? Let's do something a little bit different, a little unique, something that could blend into the park a little bit, you know, with some flowers and some shrubs and some different things like that, you know, and then have a new flag system, you know, having the state and the POW and that stuff, and have lights that come up and shine up on it, and he got to looking through things, and he said, you know what, he says, Mankato's got something really nice, so he bought it up on Google, and I said, well, I'm going over there on Friday, so I went over there, and I took some pictures, and you guys can kind of take a look at it, and just see just something like that, not saying we have to completely copy them, but it's just kind of something that I think, if we get some type of plan, coordinate it with the Legion and Dodge County Veteran Services, and see, and bring the new gentleman over here before I leave, and come up with a plan. We could probably, maybe, hopefully, I don't know if it'll get started yet this fall, or get it started right away early next spring. And that is something that I think we as a park board wanted anyway, a few years back anyway, to do something for the veterans, and I think that would be a good thing. So, with that, and you guys will take a look at it a little bit, but with that, I just would like to have you guys, as a board, discuss it and make a possible recommendation to the city council for us to move forward and eliminate that flower planter, and then we could have the blessing for the council if they would choose to do so, and then we could go forward with this. You know, I don't know if, we don't have no flowers planted in it now,
There hasn't been for a while.
and for about 3-4 years since,
Because the weeds have overgrown.
yeah. The Girl Scouts used to take care of it.
They
Yes,
did.
they did.
They did a great job for years.
They did until the weeds took over.
Yeah, and, you know,
Then it hasn't
and-
been maintained.
right, and they have their Girl Scout bench in front, you know, and they got that Girl Scout post in the middle of it and that stuff. And, you know, they, at one time, were really good about coming back and weeding it every month, whatever, or so, you know, and that stuff, so,
Are we talking, safety bad? I mean, if it's getting to the point where it's gonna crumble if somebody's walking around on it, or somebody's...
it's very loose. I mean, they poured, I don't know who poured the top. They put some type of cement top on there that shouldn't have even been poured on there, number one. But there's one section you can see that a lot of it is even just fell off. But the thing that gets the most is what John looked at it, it's the severe cracking all the way, right through the line. Right through the line, not through the tuck pointing, it's the line that's cracking. That's the problem.
So is there any line that we could keep? So when our wall needs repair again, it would still be
Yeah.
WPA?
Which would no problem, I mean, we could do that, we could put it in a pile and stick it out there to the shop or whatever, and do that is no problem, I mean, we can keep the line. But I will tell you this, when Randy Lent, our old city administrator, was here, he had a gentleman from Iowa come up and test with one of them stone, the hardness of that lime, and they did it. They took a piece out of the stone planter, not the wall,
Oh.
out of the stone planter, crushed it, he told Randy, he said, this lime is seen its days. Now, he said, you may think that lime's gonna last for years and years and years. No. He said, no. This lime, and that was about, 10 years ago?
Yeah, easy.
10 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever. And nothing's been done since then to that thing. It's just stayed the way it is, and that stuff. And I just think to showcase a nice war memorial in our park, in that park, that would really showcase it really off, to have something really nice there. I would believe that would look really nice. Our festival is there. Everybody is on that side. And
You got a lot of veterans, you got a lot of active duty people in this.
oh, a lot,
There's just a lot.
you know.
You got, World War II vets are dying off, but you got Vietnam still, Korea still, everybody.
Mhm. But you are right, Janet, we could take it apart. I mean, we can take what we can, and we can save as much lime as we possibly can, and then we can just take it out, and we'll put it out in a pile out by our shop, because we got all kinds of different things out there anyway, so that should be no problem.
'Cause I know he had to go out and get some
Yep.
lime for the wall.
Yep.
So if we kept some,
Mhm.
for future,
Yep.
And
And that's no problem, and that could be done. But it's kinda sad, I'm gonna be leaving, but I've always wanted to have something done, and I guess maybe I've kinda dropped the ball on it a little bit, but then I know when I talked to Dick Denny, they wanted to get their Legion thing done on the corner. They wanted to spend their money and their time and their effort and get that completed first, the Freedom Rock, and get all that stuff done. Well, it's complete now. So he said, once it's completed, then, so I told him, I said that I was gonna bring it up to the park board and go from there, and then we can even meet here before I leave and see what their thought is, and Tim just thought, well, it'd be nice to really get a plan, try to get it really implemented and get it going as fast as we possibly can go, and get it going. So that's why...
Have it all finished up before next festival anyway.
Right. Basically, yes, right. That would be, hopefully, And then I know, as far as donations go, I know the Legion has their pull tabs, and I know that Dick Denny said that they would be willing to throw money back in towards this effort. And I don't know if Dodge County Veterans Affairs has money or whatever, but I do know that if we end up close to $40,000, which we budgeted, we could get a lot done. Now, it probably wouldn't be a finished project, but we could get a lot done and something started, as far as flagpoles and some cement work and some brick work and maybe some shrubs and some flowers and some whatever.
I wouldn't put shrubs in,
No.
because they have to be maintained.
Yeah.
That's-
Here, that would have to be something, like I say, depending on what you guys or what they want to see or whatever, how the design wants to go, whatever it is, but,
That would
It would-
almost have to be a coordinated venture between the Legion and...
right.
Well, here's my take on that. I don't like it,
Mhm.
for these reasons. Okay, I'm picturing, if I was an old veteran,
Mhm.
and one of the divisions or branches, whether it's Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and,
Mhm. Air Force.
Yeah, airspace, too now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got theirs.
What I don't like about that, you have a little tiny marble symbol, and that's it.
Mhm.
To me, that's not a tribute to them, or something I go, oh, look, I got this little tiny box. That's more of an effort on the three flags. POW, state, and the United States. As a veteran, you give your blood, sweat, and guts, and people have died. You can put flags anywhere. To me, that should be outside a big public, almost looks like it's outside a courthouse or something.
It's on a corner.
Okay, but there's a big building behind it.
Mhm.
Okay, so but it's not a memorial. I look at that as, so where's my tribute? Where's my fallen soldier statuette? Or boots and a gun statuette, or a helmet and a gun, and, you know, the tribute to the fallen, the tribute to the blood given.
There is a small statue with that.
You just said small.
Mhm.
And that is not, to me, a tribute to what they gave, it's just, there's something there. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad, but I wouldn't be proud of that here, if I was a veteran, because I want to say, I'm honoring the fallen, the people, like, you know, you can put flags anywhere. The W, whatever, you should have every flag of every division.
Well, you notice they had all their names in the bricks.
Saw that, but that doesn't, that's just a, you know, that, to sit there and read all that, but, you know, it's any veteran that comes to the town says, I'm honored here as well as another community, wherever I go, we're honored. I don't need to have a name on a brick. So, to me, way too plain. If you look at some of the other ones, I'm trying to think where it was, it's over, west of Faribault. Going through, like, the lakes area, there's a little tiny town, I don't remember what it was, Shieldsville? Has a phenomenal Veterans Memorial. You drive by, I went by there a couple years ago, and it just caught my eye, I'm like, wow, is this kind of cool. I remember if it was a line of flag poles, but they had other monument type things there. I'm trying to think what it was, but it's really quite impressive for just a stretch of road in a town of 63 people or whatever it is.
Not much there, that's for sure.
So, you know, I look at it as a tribute to those that have fallen, given their blood guts. I want to tribute that, not just, to me, it's not about lighting up the POW flag, American flag, and what is it, the state of Minnesota flag?
It is the three flags, whatever, and that stuff. I know
Where I'm coming from.
Waseca's got the same type of thing in front of their courthouse, but they got cement pillars with their names, and they're just angled. And they got the three flags and benches, and that's it, in front of their courthouse. So there is certain ones that they decide what they want to do.
And that's a courthouse type.
Mm-hmm.
It's a U.S. judicial system memorial.
Right. And all the veterans' names are on it.
With some
Yeah.
veterans in there, but this is a veterans park, a veterans memorial. I would love to see, get back to what they're doing around us, but you don't have to, you take one little piece from everything and you can make it very unique. You know, and I don't need to have it built in stone or limestone, or, that's just my thought, and they agree, and I don't agree in the shops, because who's gonna trim them, you're gonna get debris in there.
Right,
Who's gonna plant the flowers?
right. Who's gonna keep maintaining
You
it?
can do a lot of pretties just in marble and
Mhm.
granite and cleanliness, because it's easy to clean, washes away in rains, and so that's just my take on that. It doesn't give me the feeling of a tribute to those that have fallen and given their lives. That's just my take.
The thing I think what Tim was trying to present here was, I think he's thinking, first of all, you can get up to 150,000 in these.
Oh, I know that.
I know Dodge Center spent over 100 and some thousand on theirs. So how much money do you have to
To
do?
make it look pretty, and you might find there might be some private donations, and you might be surprised what the Legion has as funds built up, because we have been talking about this as a park board for
3-4 years.
3 or 4 years, so they may have a little pool, once you say, okay, this going forward, so they're gonna come up with some funds probably to say, how much is this gonna cost, like, well,
They might even have their own idea.
and a couple years ago, we asked them to come up with an idea and
Well-
present it to us.
Actually, Todd had the idea. He's got the computer program of all the veterans over at the courthouse.
Okay.
They actually got a computer that can put and design,
Here's the picture from Shieldsville.
he can design anything that we want, and then get a rendering, and then present it to us, you know, to see what it looks like, you know.
Is that the one you saw?
I guess,
Plus give them a budget,
That's
kind of a
Schuylkill.
budget area.
I'm trying to think.
Right.
So.
So, the thing is, I think what Tim was trying to present was, if we get into that $100,000 range, and we don't have a lot of money or a lot of funding coming in from outside sources, how long do we have to wait again now? Do we have to wait another 2, 3, 4 years,
I want to get something saying.
5 years before we get 100,000, and then we get 100,000, now all of a sudden now.
And I can't
not
see a
to
statue
put
here
Briggs
either.
down, but then
No,
is
it's
it
I don't
gonna
see a
be
statue.
150 by
And I
that time
we're
to
not
build it?
Near that, but.
Yeah.
So,
So, and I agree,
know.
you know, thing is, if you're gonna do it, you wanna do it you don't wanna say, well, we tried to save some money, that'd be the absolute last thing
you wanna hear,
you wanna
exactly.
have anybody say, so.
Right, right.
If it takes another 2 years, once the process is in motion, it's like, well, you took down the flower, what's going there, a memorial, but now we have some designs, we're gonna come up with designs, we need to find some money, and how much do we wanna make, how much do we wanna give?
We have an awesome fundraiser.
Yeah.
I still have the little collecting.
Her husband's a vet.
Yeah.
So,
No, I mean-
you know, I
Boxes you
I'm
can
not saying
do.
anything bad about that, I just, to me, that's not the image of a tribute to the veterans who's lost and donated, all the spouses who have lost loved ones. That doesn't do anything for me. It's just not a tribute, it's just a,
I kinda agree with you, yeah.
it's just a sitting place. It's like,
It's-
almost like I
yeah.
wanna sit and
It's pretty much,
comprehend, and I just wanna relax and remember, but it's not a tribute. That's my opinion, it just doesn't feel good. So, and nothing wrong with, you know, there's wonderful things, West Concord even has a wonderful little as you come in. For a little tiny town, it's just a little, even though they got the, you know, something different, but it's, so. But like I said, there's multiple ways of planning and ideas, and you could have 20 different pictures saying, well, which one do you like, and you could take something from everyone, just $1, so.
So, what do we, I mean,
I
do we
would
wanna
say-
feel, do we really want to?
Keep moving forward.
Keep
with
moving
it.
forward with it.
Yeah,
And-
I think
and-
if you
Moving
take
forward
that,
with it.
if it's not an issue about taking that planter down, saving some stone, and putting a memorial back in its place.
Just put future site of, Veterans Park,
Right.
put a board or something
And
up
at
there,
some
have
point when they
Abel's
start
make
inquiring,
something.
I said, well, I said, if, you know, donations accepted at, you know, local banks and your local Legion for
Get a
funds to
des-
be raised
you know.
towards, and they're gonna say, well, what's it gonna look like? So that's just it, how many funds can we raise to make it look like, but here's, somebody's gonna give us an idea, but,
Well, I tell you what I can do is that I'll meet with Dick Denny and then the new gentleman from the Veterans Services here, okay, within, you know, and see what I can come up with, and maybe bring this back in October, 'cause September, we're gonna have a little bit to work with the KMBA and the final numbers for the aquatic center, and what we're gonna do with the aquatic center next year. That's all gonna have to be discussed next month in September. And then we could bring somebody, maybe the gentleman from the Veteran Services can come up and maybe possibly give us a PowerPoint demonstration or something like that of what his thoughts and what something in October, you know, and go from there. But I think if we could, if we all in agreement about moving forward with this, then I think what we should recommend to the council about, you know, that site, to recommend that site for the future of the war memorial, and that we could, take down the flower planter, save the rock, distribute that back out to the shop, keep it there for future use, and then have Abel's make us a sign, somewhat of a sign up there, and kind of put it in there and leave it there until we decide what we want to do in the future for the next year or 2 years, if it's gonna take 2 years to have more funding, to kind of get a price, because we're gonna all have to have a price on what's gonna cost, you know?
I don't even think we would have to put a sign there saying future spot,
Just take it out?
because it's just gonna be another sign, and they're gonna say, well,
But-
how far is it? When you're closer.
But I know the
I know
people in
somebody
this
say-
community.
I know, but I hate to just put it in the middle of the park,
Yeah.
because it's probably not gonna be completed a year from now. It's gonna be a lot of design and a lot of fundraising, so now it's just a sign people are gonna just have to walk around, sit around, graffiti around, it's just a, you know, if somebody says, what's going, you know, it could probably be put, information somewhere, but I think it's, until we get further into, we've got a design, this is the dollar figure we have to reach, this is what it's gonna look like, this is now where the site's gonna be, it could be, you know, I understand what you're saying, somebody say you took it out and you...
Well,
we're just kinda taking down all of our WPA stuff, though, is that my thinking. I mean, we saved the wall, okay, but we can't get anything on the register because the fireplace is gone, the bathhouse is not there, and if we take out the flower bed too, then next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take down the wall. And then there goes your WPA stuff. That's my only issue with taking out that. I'd like to see Rich come up and take a look and see his opinion on it. I mean, Dingley's got eye problems and cancer and everything, and he's not gonna help out, I know that. But, I've been in touch with Rich, and I talked to him about the wall and stuff, and he said it needs some work. He saw the cracks, and he said it needs caulking and everything yet too, and so, I know he does a lot of work in Decorah, 'cause he does live there, but, you know, he said, let me know if you have any more rock work to be done.
So your idea would be save the flower
Well,
area, don't take it down yet, but that would
Right.
still be a good site when we do have a plan for the
Maybe.
memorial. Now it's down, the memorial's up.
maybe. I'm not saying that, I'm saying, you know, you can maybe move it beside it or something. We're taking down all of our WPA stuff, is what I'm saying, you know?
Getting old though.
Yeah,
It
but
is.
maybe it could be repaired, our wall was old too, you know? Have Rich come up and look at it, that's what I'm saying, before we go tearing things down.
Who already came and looked at it?
Well, we've had a gentleman already, about 10 years
Yeah.
ago, look at it and that stuff, and even the gentleman that the architects that were gonna spend the 200,000, they wanted to tear it down too. Personally, do we like tearing stuff down? No.
No.
I agree with you 1,000%. The park is the park. We're gonna have to tear down that tennis court at some time. That thing's been there since 1963. It just gets to the point that deterioration is. Now, to me, that's not a WPA project. If that whole thing has gotta be tore apart, replastered, and all redone, then it's not a WPA
Right,
project.
but it might not have to be.
Oh, it will be.
That's why I said
It
I'd
will
like him
be.
to look
I
at
will
it.
guarantee it will be. I was there and it's bad. It's
Well, we could
bad.
put, why can't we put the war memorial where the tennis courts is? We're not gonna put a new
Because
one
that's
up,
gonna
are we?
be future site of 2 tennis
Is it?
courts there. That's the way that it sounds. What Tim's here, that's what he
Well,
wants
I
to
think,
see.
and that would be too far to the back, it's behind the pool.
I
Nobody's gonna
suppose.
see it on 7th Street, so you're hiding it, so it would not be a good spot for
Well, I
that.
guess I just kinda hate to tear things down, and that's my thing, 'cause I know it was built by the WPA. I know that. We have the information about that.
So
I
maybe
know
don't
that.
tear it down yet, but leave it. If we bring somebody in and give us another opinion on it,
Yeah.
that'd be the case. If they go,
If he
"This is
says it's not worth it,
salvageable,"
then, okay, I understand, but, you know, I just think that we're just gonna tear things down, you know? We had to kinda work hard to get the wall saved, and I hate to tear something else down that was WPA. You know, and we're working, we met today about a sign for the wall up there and stuff, and so we'll get things together before the next park board meeting too, about that, but,
We'll leave it, so just, so, you know, keep it clean, keep it neat. You know, nobody's really climbing on it at this point. Don't tear it apart yet until you have more information,
Keep moving with the project.
but it still would be a good
the
spot
council
for the
know.
war memorial that, maybe they can implement some of the limestone that's in there into that memorial,
maybe.
you know. So, some little planters off to the side or something, using the limestone, not that, you know, like I said, you're probably gonna lose the WPA status of that,
Yeah,
but it's still got
I would,
some
but-
remnants built into it for,
Yeah,
you know.
Well, you could do that when you take it down too, you could just take it apart, like I said, keep the limestone down.
but why take it down if nothing's going there? It's just gonna be a weed mess. Is my thinking.
I'm just thinking of safety.
Who's crawling on?
Huh?
There's nothing, nobody happening to it. Nobody's on it.
They're 24/7 to see what's going on.
Well, no, but I'm sure the kids aren't crawling on it and stuff. It's,
I just, like I say, I don't know.
I'd say go, let the council know that this is what we're moving forward with, and then don't tear it down yet until somebody comes to look at it.
Let's just say that would probably be the future site of the war memorial, but
Yep.
leave the structure where it's at.
Unless it poses a safety risk that we find out about.
Right. And then at that point, we'll have to decide, we can still keep the stone, but.
Yep.
And bring in somebody to take a look and say, is this something that becomes a safety issue? Because it's, you know, I don't think it's the reason to spend what he may say is $20,000 to fix it back up, to, that nobody's putting flowers back in it anyways.
right.
I mean, that was some of the issue where it's just a pile of weeds and thistles, and nobody's taking their time to give that time to keep it pretty, so if nobody's gonna spend the time, we have to make a decision with it.
And we don't have enough manpower to take care of flower planters. I hate to say that, but that's the way the city has been. We just have too much other stuff that goes on from day to day and the street department actually is helping our park department most of the time, all the time anyway, and to maintain it, some group would have to take it over. If they're gonna keep that flower planter and redo it and spend that money and redo that thing and keep that area and that stuff, they better have flowers planted in it, and they better have some group to take care of it, day in and day out. Someone's gonna have to step to the plate. That's my personal feeling. You know?
I would make a recommendation that, we move forward with the War Memorial, and that is a possible future site of where that flower planter is. Leave the flower planter alone, try to keep it neat and clean as possible. We have the possibility of bringing somebody in to take a look at the safety structure of it, to see if it should be left for a year or two, or if it would be best just to reclaim the stone out of it, hold the stone for future, maybe used in the memorial, but not demolish it for the case of just moving it out, so. That's my motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, 2023 budget, I'm just kind of go through some of the things that I had met with Nancy and Tim on for the next year's budget. We, basically, as far as, I'll just go to the cemetery. If you guys have not heard whatever and that stuff, the cemetery is gonna get blacktopped. That was passed by the council last Wednesday night. It's gonna get, new blacktop all the way around on the outside and then on the U-shape. And that was passed for $97,000, to get that completed.
Are they gonna widen it?
8.5 foot
8.5 foot.
blacktop, yep. I'll be part of the projects when Lamplin does the Lions Park and then the Library Park, and they're all gonna try to implement that all in to blacktop it and get that all taken care of. It was not engineered through WHKS. The engineering part of it, the bid come in at $191,000, at a 10-foot blacktop. So, we went with it, and I met with, Trevor Lamplin out there, and they're gonna do the prep work, dig out the frost boils that have been in there, and get that all done, and then, they will pave that, hopefully here before winter comes, and complete that. So just to let you know on that, but, anyway, cemetery's pretty much the same budget. I took out some money as far as trees, because we were thinking about planting some trees on the south side, but, we won't do that because possibility of future, because we own 55 acres behind the cemetery and to the west side, and it could be future development and stuff back in there for commercial or, housing, whatever, so we're not gonna plant trees on the south side, of the cemetery. And if you didn't realize, we did put a fence between the trailer court. I think I've told you guys that. That's all completed, that was done. So cemetery should be in pretty good shape here, whatever. But that funding, just to let you know too, the funding of the cemetery was, at 33,000 still in the cemetery budget. And then I think liquor store funds, and then there's a stabilization fund that, where the monies are gonna be taken out to do that, cemetery. So, just to let you know on that. Let's see, then as far as, we'll go to, Aquatic Center, playgrounds, excuse me, first. As you know, we got that big project we're gonna be doing here once the pool is closed. We'll start that here after we do all the landscaping. We got landscaping project to do around the library. Tim told me that the other day. So we're gonna be doing some landscaping around the library. And then we're gonna jump in and then start digging out, all the old wood play box up there by both swings, the red swing and the big swing. and dig all the dirt out, and then put all new border, and then wood chip it, so it's all ADA compliant, so people can use and get on there with a wheelchair, and we'll get new ADA compliant swings for both the baby swing and the bigger swing. And then we're gonna have Jason Wilkers come in and plant some bigger trees, probably about 5 or 6 of them, were the trees we took down.
What park is this?
Veterans, right,
Okay.
be on the east side of the pool, yep. So that is a project we'll get done here before the winter, and we budgeted that out last year. I already got all the border and everything there at that part. But anyways, back to playgrounds for next year, I added $3,500 additional wood chips. We usually have 3,000, I put it up to 6,500, because we need to redo some of the wood chips at the library, and then we need to re-wood chip the North Park, the 2 playgrounds that are there right now. So that'll be about an additional $3,500 to $4,000. That'll be about 200 cubic yards, 2 semi-fulls of wood chip will be coming in next year to do all that. The aquatic center, we got the high maintenance contract from Lemmy Jones. I remember telling you that Lemmy had met with us. We signed a 3-year agreement, $2,500 a year, for that company to come in and inspect all the play features, the slides, the climbing wall, the diving boards, such and such. They will be coming here in September. And then they're gonna be taking all the plates off the steps that go up to the high slide, and they're gonna send them down to Texas and get them all refurbished. And then they're gonna paint underneath the big platforms and the steps of the slide, which is already showing some rust and some corrosion, and they're gonna refix all that. That's part of our budget for this year, okay? So that'll be the maintenance that'll get done. Next year, we got a price of all the funbrellas. If anybody hasn't seen the big canopies, all the outside is all tore from wind damage, and they're 9 years old. I will send them back down to Waterloo at the end of the year, and they can probably fix them and re-sew all that stuff back on. But it's time to start replacing it, because they're guaranteed for 10 years. I went back and looked at the warranty on them for fading and for the sun, UV stuff. So I think Tim was thinking about maybe replacing 2 to 3 a year. They're at $2,300 for just the canopy for each one, and we got 10 of them. So I think we're gonna be doing 2 or 3 of them to replace them, fix the other ones, so we should be set to go for next year. The dive tower, we will be looking at that dive tower, number one, with the gentleman, because of what incidences have happened here this year. There's been a couple incidents where some children have fallen off the high dive and got hurt. The design is the design. I'm gonna have to have the design, or the company that makes, whoever does this, come and look at it, decide what they need to do as the company. We at the city can't touch that. Once we start making altercations to that, then we're liable. So, I know that people think, well, what's the city gonna do about it? Well, the only way we can do about it is we gotta have the company that comes in and design them high diving boards and the railings, and they're gonna have to decide what they need to do. So that'll be talked about in September. And the 2 incidents that happened was an accident. Both children, 6 and 12 years old, they stepped out on the high diving board, and the board's wet, and I looked at the treading, everything looked good on the treading, they just stepped off and they fell. It was, an accident. Hate to see that. I don't want to have anybody get hurt. We've had it going 9 years, and for some reason this year, 2 incidents happened. And, it's concerning, and so I'll bring that all up to them, and they're gonna have to look at that. So just to let the park board know, that's where we stand as far as the city, to see if there's a whole different design to try to protect that area, or try to hopefully not have kids be able to fall through the railing and the board itself, okay? So, But anyway, that'll be looked at $8,100 as far as repainting and retaking care of, the rust on the bottom. As you can see, the screws were all rusted and stuff. That has to be refurbished and redone. And then they'll probably even look at the diving boards to maybe possibly resurface them, also. So that I got in there. I think they gave me a price of $8,100 to do that. And then, refurbishing the toddler slide in the play feature, the old double slide in the zero depth. The fiberglass is in really rough shape. It's in rough, we fixed it a couple times, spent money to refix it. The company came in, refixed it, regrinded it, repainted it, redid everything, but now it's showing more wear and tear again. But what will happen if we're gonna spend the money for $13,000, they will load that up, take it back to Missouri or Texas, where they will, and they'll completely refurbish everything, redo everything, and then bring it back to us, okay? And, that'll be $13,000, doing that. If we went and bought a brand new one, you're looking at $22,000 to $25,000 for a double slide, just to let you know on the price on that. So I got probably around probably $25,000, $30,000 in the budget for repairs that need to be done. Funbrella, the diving boards next year, and then the toddler slide. Then after that, then the big things happen. In '24, you know, we're looking at exterior oxidation, pressure wash, repaint, both slides. They gave me a price of $38,000 on that. Then they have to take all the joints on the slides and pull them apart and put all new tape in the flume joints and all that stuff, buffing and everything. That'll be in '25. That's for $44,000. So that's just the slides. And then, you know, in about another 10 years after that, then we'll have to be redone again. So that's what has to be looked at. So just to let you know. And then in '24, for $25,000, they'll have to respray all the play features that we had done here a couple years ago. So they should be resprayed pretty much every 4 to 5 years. So that's coming down the road in 2025. And then, like I say, I mean, it's just gonna, the cost is just gonna have to be, you're gonna have to keep on budgeting for stuff, you know. So anyway, that's kind of the big items for the pool. We're gonna put in another second slushy machine at $2,700. We got a new one this year. We kind of robbed some pieces to try to get that second one to work this year. So far, it's been okay, but I put in the budget for $2,700 for a new slushy machine. Then we'll have 2 new ones, and then I put in $750 for a new popcorn machine. We stole the one out of the concession stand to use up at the aquatic center because we didn't have the concession stand open. So we're in need of a new popcorn machine. And then we got, at $750, and then we got new rescue tubes for all the lifeguards that have the tubes, and they're gonna have sleeves. They're $100 a piece. We need 12 of them, so another $1,200 for that. So it's gonna be close to the $40,000 range as far as stuff that's gonna have to be replaced and done for next year, as far as the pool goes. And then, as far as the maintenance that we're gonna do, I upped it a couple $1,000 for the repairs and maintenance, because we have to redo all the seals and all the bearings in the 5 pumps that are down below. We haven't had that done yet. It'll be on its 10th year, so that's gonna have to get done. I think we got a gentleman from Pine Island that's coming over to look at them and get that all taken care of. And then in 2 years, we'll have to get a hold of Thatcher again, and then you'll have to retake all the sand out of the filters, and that's around $10,000 to put in all new sand and check all them louvers inside the filters. So that's just the basic maintenance of the pool of them, and we have not done anything with the heaters yet. And Hopefully they'll last, but just to be on the safe side, that's why we carried the extra money in there, because one heater, there's 2 heaters, one is, I think, $30,000 to $35,000 just to replace one. So to replace 2 of them would be $70,000 for the heaters. So, just the items I wanted to mention to everybody, because that's stuff that's gonna have to always be thought of in the future, okay? As far as other rec facilities, that's all of our stuff, that are ball fields and stuff like that. Concession stand repair on the east side and on the south side, and even some on the, underneath the shelter side, all the board's gonna have to be replaced, it's all rotten. And where we got the pump, or the tank that we suck the water out that people use in the water, that whole area is all rotten. We'll have to redo all that and put all new board in. I think that was around $1,500. And then we gotta reshingle both North 1 and North 2 dugouts, and that's about probably $15,000 to $2,000. At that, I think East Diamond is still okay, but the kids have gotten on them roofs, and they've been tearing shingles off the dugouts. And they're tearing them right up. So, the cops have caught them a couple times, but, you know, what do? We've caught them a couple times too. Then we ordered, and I want another 5 garbage cans. We just got 4 in. We'll put them down at Lions Park by the pickleball court and the basketball court yet this fall. We're gonna be putting in 7 park benches with cement pads. 2 are gonna be donated by the Lions Parks members. And then the other ones we'll be putting by the pickleball court and basketball court down there at the Lions Park yet this year. But I put in 5 cans, $3,500. They're about $700 a can, a garbage can. So I budgeted that in. And then as far as the umpiring go, we increased it $1 per game. Instead of 27, I went into 28 per game for the umpiring. So that's pretty much the rec part of it. The parks. With all the other stuff that's been happening, I pretty much didn't really do too much to the parks. Well, all the other stuff, repairs, maintenance, supplies, all that other stuff looks good. Weed chemicals, everything else looks good as far as that goes. I didn't raise anything in there.
Going in any lawnmowers or anything like that?
Nope. We're all good to go for lawnmowers and equipment, so that's a good thing. So the equipment, we're in really good shape, so that's a good thing. As far as forestry and nursery, we did not add anything with that either. You know, we still got our Emerald Ash Borer program going until 2026. We started it in 2016, so the city shares half costs with the people who did treat their trees, and I think there's like around 15, probably about 17 residents now that are still treating their ash trees on the boulevard, where the city pays half the cost every 2 years. That still is going, but in 26, then the city's portion will be done. And we still kept the money in for the Boulevard Tree Program, which gets done starts in February, and they plant in May. That's all there, and so that's pretty good that way. As far as capital improvements, stuff that the city has always been willing to give us for projects. Like I said before, the Veterans War Memorial, I plugged in another $10,000 for that, okay? The outfield fence at North 1 Ball Field. Now, these are not all in order. It's whatever the council decides, if they still want to do whatever. But the outfield fence North 1, it's the last piece of fencing that it needs to be replaced. That fencing was put in back in 1992. It's in need. We need to replace the outfield fence on North number 1.
Which is number 1?
The one closest to the road. North 2 is all done. That's been helped. I know Tim in the budget meeting, he asked me, well, what does the associations have done? And I said, well, we've actually relied on the joint ventures group that's between Casson and Manorville and the school district. The cities of Casson and Manorville and the school district is a joint ventures deal. They have given us, I think for fencing and a backstop, close to $35,000 to $40,000 in the last couple of years. They actually put a new outfield fence out there for us on North 2 and built that big backstop, because they do play their 9th grade and junior varsity baseball games on there. So the joint ventures has given money for that. So I did put in $20,000 for a new outfield fence, to get that completed. New camera at Vets North Park. On North 1, third baseline, we have a camera that's up there that shines out on the gazebo and shines out on the shelter at the west end, and then also scans where the flower planter is and whatever. That's shot. That camera is shot. It's $5,700 just to replace the camera. So we didn't have the money this year to do it, so there's no camera there. But I budgeted $65,000 for next year to have a new camera put up there. All the other cameras in the park seem to be working okay. I've had them guys up there. All the cameras at the aquatic center and the system is good so far. But just to let you know, all that stuff was put in 2013. So in '23, next year, it's 10 years old. And some of the stuff and some of the parts in the cameras, which I talked to Brian King, are you can't get the parts no more for repairs. So now you're almost to the point of thinking about, oh man, now I gotta upgrade to a different camera, and it's gonna cost more, you know. So just something to think about for future, okay? And talking about cameras, I put in there $7,000 to build a new shed down at Lions Park, so we can get electric to that on the inside, so we can get a new camera system going in the future down at Lions Park. You start building tennis courts, you start having picnic shelters, you have playgrounds, you have pickleball, you got a new parking lot that's gonna be all paved and blacktopped, and you got a frisbee golf course, and you got possible future ball fields that are gonna go back close to the highway. We need a camera system down there. So, gotta build a shed first, so we have a place where you can put the camera stuff. All the cables gotta run to someplace, and, so hopefully they can get that done. $7,000 to get it done. Cement floor, put in a shed, so we have future use. Then we'd like to put in, a cement pad on the outside, and then, possibly run a pop machine down there in the future too, for people to be able to use get pop out of that at the Lions Park. So anyway, that's $7,000. And then the last, if anybody has not looked, if you've seen the gazebo, the roof on the gazebo lately, the shakes are falling off, piece by piece. We need a new steel roof put on that gazebo. And we're gonna go with steel instead of wood shakes. It'll be a lot more, that will last for years and years and years. I plugged in $15,000 for that. It needs to be done. I have to find out, or whoever takes my job needs to find out, to have someone to be able to come up and do it. And the park board can decide what kind of color they want in the future, whatever, but that has to be done. There's no repairing them old shakes. And that was built in 1996 by Merle Olson and Armin Keller. I remember that, when they did that. So, but that roof on the gazebo has to be repaired. So that's another thing that needs to be done. So altogether, on the CIP plan, it equaled up to be $58,500. Usually the council gives me around $55,000 to $60,000, so they've always been very generous. And you were on the council at that time too, Chuck, and you guys have always given us some type of money to do some improvements in the park. So we'll see what the council decides on that, but that's the CIP money. Okay?
Oh, good, thank you, Ron.
Good.
Okay, so that's the budget. Any questions on that? Anything?
Not yet.
Okay? All right. This will have to go, and how the budget still works, everybody knows how it all works. It still goes to the council. They make the final say in December, isn't it, Jan, or something,
in September, they have to
September,
approve it,
they have
and
to
then
prove
they
it.
can still,
make a little bit till...
can't go up on it, but they
Right.
can go down.
Right, yeah. So, that part's all done on that part, so... Okay? Any questions, anything on that then, or?
Yeah, Wasn't paying attention from the start, so can you start again?
It's a lot, I know, it
I
is.
was thinking, John was like,
What?
when you start writing, just put your pen down and listen. And I'll take care of it for you.
Yeah, so,
I think it too, if you want a copy, you can get a copy of it.
yeah, we can get a copy of everything, you know, down the road and
After they
stuff.
present it. and
Once they
everything.
present it to the council, then we'll get a copy and we'll bring it, we can hand it out or something, September, October.
Nothing I haven't heard for the last 23 years, so.
Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll go down to old business. Aquatic Center update. That's what I mentioned in before. We are gonna be going through all the Aquatic Center's pros and cons for this year, next meeting here in September. We'll have the KMBA come in when they are done, and then we'll go through the Aquatic Center. I'm writing up a monthly program for the next person in line of when I've done this, when I hire, when I do interviews, when we do this. I want the next person coming in at least having an idea of how the Aquatic Center goes. And I just feel, it makes me feel better to know that. I know there's gonna be a lot that's gonna come down on Jan, there's gonna be a lot that comes down on Nancy. There's a good possibility to let you know that probably none of our managers will be back next year. Assistant managers, maybe even Abby. So it'll be all new, okay? With that, I will tell you next month, I will present that we should get out in the paper and start advertising on the League of Minnesota Cities for a new aquatic manager for the city of Casson, okay? So that is something that's gonna have to be done. And hopefully we'll have some people that will wanna come in and be a manager. I know the city of Dodge Center advertised their aquatic manager for 5 or 6 months, and they never got one. They ended up hiring 6 assistant managers to run the pool. So, I just want to let you know that we could be in need of an aquatic center manager for next year. And that's just a little bit start of it. But we'll go through everything. There is gonna have to be some tweaks of what we had this year going and what we're gonna do next year, definitely. Maybe pertaining to some hours, maybe pertaining to some swim lesson differences. Also, there's some suggestions by the assistant managers of doing some different things as far as swim lessons go and rentals of the pool. We sat down, me and Charlie did with Abby and then the 4 assistants and spent a good hour and a half with them, and they really explained what their feelings were that would work and what wouldn't work. And we're gonna take that into consideration because they're the ones that are up there. They see, they know what's all going on. So, I'll present that all to you guys next meeting. We can discuss it and we can talk about it, because Tim is right. The sooner we get something set in stone on the park board for how the aquatic center is gonna operate next year, the better off we'll be. Then we can get that information out the first of the year right away to people, because we have heard, well, man, it's a whole new thing, we didn't know this, we didn't hear this, we didn't know this. So the sooner that information can come out as far as hours and what's all going on, the better off we're gonna be. So it'll be next month, and then into even October, we can kinda conclude it, and hopefully we have an idea, we recommend to the city council, and they can go with things updated on stuff, okay?
You normally interview in December though, right?
What's that?
You normally interview in December?
In December, yep. The application's gotta be in by the end of November 30th is the last day where we accept applications for next year. And then all the new ones I do over Christmas break, all the new ones, and then whoever does want to be a manager, assistant managers, we include them in on the interviews. Yep. So that's kind of the aquatic center. Basically, too, I want to let you know, too, as of today, the 16th, the pool closes at 5 o'clock now and it does not open at night. We don't have no one around because everybody's into practicing. We have no one to be able to open the pool after 5 o'clock from now until the 26th.
When's it
Opens at
open?
12:30.
12:30 to
To 5.
5, that's it.
Yep, and that's it. the normal hours
Until the 26th.
until the
She put that out on
26th.
the website and everything
Yes.
then, so. okay.
Yep, and it's been posted up there at the Aquatic Center. But we've known that now for 2 weeks, I have. I mean, Abby has scrambled just to get enough to keep it open till the 26th. She told me at one time,
Yeah.
we're shutting down on the 21st, that's this Friday. I said, oh no, we gotta find people. We can't close a week early, not with all the stuff that's went on this year. So I said, we need to find, so she scraped, and we do have enough. Matter of fact, Abby goes back and starts doing stuff here, she started on Monday for her teaching job. The
Yep.
only two assistant managers we have left is Julia and Rachel. Mitchell went back to his, way up in North Dakota, and then, Melissa, she started her internship. Yep, so she's gone too. So we got only two assistant managers really kinda running the whole show for the next 10 days or so.
Well, as long as they know what they're doing.
Yep. Yep, they are, so, but just let everybody know, if you hear any calls or anybody gets on Facebook or whatever, it's because of staffing. It ain't
If
because
staff wants to
we,
go and further their education, we're gonna let them further
Yes.
their education over.
It's been on
For their
Facebook,
families.
I've seen it.
oh yeah.
It's been posted, you
Mhm.
know, and people complained, of course, you
Oh, yeah.
know, but
And they wanted refunds and,
go
oh yeah.
work it and see how you can do,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
you know.
so.
Abby tried to explain, I saw that she
Yep.
tried to explain, you know,
Mhm.
that everybody's back at practice and
Yep.
she's, we're doing what we can do,
Yep, so.
so.
So I just wanted to give you an update on that, okay? Okay, no other questions on the pool. We'll go back down to the Veterans Park stone wall update. Like I said earlier, we were talking before the meeting, but, I did get a hold of Sheldon, Stone by Stone, that was gonna be doing the cement sidewalk in front of the wall, tearing out the curb and redoing the curb, and that stuff. He's had some personal issues as far as health issues, that has occurred to him and his wife, and he has been put behind. He's lost some helpers working with him, but he did tell me that after, Labor Day, he will get up there to start that project, okay? Now, it's been almost a year, of course, but he did for sure tell me that he said he's got a couple weeks left down for RPU in Rochester, and he'll be up here after Labor Day to get that sidewalk and curb put in and get that done before winter starts happening. So that's what he had told me, and I told him I will let the park board know, and then, I feel for him, he's went through some rough times, so, but anyway, that's the deal. Once he's done, then I'm gonna call Rich and have him come up, and then, like I said, he can look at the flower planter, and then he can finish up what he needs to do, and then we can get in there, and then we need to, seal it, all the lime, whatever. The top of them benches have cracked. I don't know, we're not supposed to seal coat that. John Dingley said not to seal coat that, but, that's gonna have to be looked at and repaired. So Rich will have to take a look at that. But, as far as the lime itself, we'll have to go down and we'll get, Rich's opinion of what kind of sealer that we need to spray on it. And that needs to be sprayed every 3 years, 2 to 3 years it needs to be resprayed, to help keep the sealer on the stone. He didn't want us to do it last year, of course. He wanted to wait a good year to let, all the motor, whatever, and all that joints and stuff to kinda cure. So I think we'll be okay to get it done here in September and get that all done. But, once Sheldon's up there and get that done, then we can continue with it and then get it completed, so. Any questions on the wall? Okay. Has anybody got anything else? Anything else under correspondence, anything you can think of? If not, I make a motion, or no.
When's the
I-
next,
that would be September 20th, isn't it?
I think.
Yeah, I think it's September 20th.
Yep, 20th.
Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All carried.
All right, thanks, guys.
You got the